there, my name is Donna and I am a CFO for childcare providers as well as assisted living providers. And what I do is I help childcare providers and assisted living providers acquire additional facilities. And not only do I assist you guys with acquiring additional facilities with strategic financial management, I also help you guys save on average $100K in taxes with tax planning strategies. Now, why is this important? Because there is a balance between the two. Whenever you grow in revenues, of course, if you're purchasing an additional facility or facilities, you're going to grow in revenues. So the main goal is to, of course, do what you love, but you want to keep the money that you make within your business and in your pocket, right? So therefore, that's where the tax planning strategies come into place, because you're going to have to tax plan in order to keep most of these millions and millions of dollars that you're making per year by bringing on additional facilities and having that business revenue grow. So that is what I specialize in. So let's get started with today's topic, which is going to be tax audit readiness and what it means. And as a provider, are you ready for a tax audit? Now, this is super important because we have several clients who are assisted living providers, who are childcare providers, and you get audited. That's just what happens. There's no way around being audited, but the goal is to be ready for the audit. That's why I said tax audit readiness. What does it mean, and are you ready? Okay, so most of the times there are different type of audits that can take place. You can be audited via email, where you're emailing in documents. You can be audited via in person, where an auditor can come out to your location and audit you. And you also can be audited in court. Either way, it's very important for you to have your documentation together, which means that most of the documentation that we've seen and the audits that we've been a part of are going to be up-to-date bookkeeping, up-to-date financial records. If you are listening to the sound of my voice and you're a childcare provider or an assisted living provider and your bookkeeping is either non-existent, it's not up-to-date, or it's up-to-date and just inaccurate because you decided to do it yourself, this is something that you really want to stop and think about, because it's a red flag. And it's definitely, number one, whenever you get audited, it's going to cost you lots and lots and lots of money, from penalties to fines, etc. So this is not something that you want to be lackadaisical with. You want to be audit ready. So if that means that, hey, you need to get on the ball, you need to start searching for an accounting tax firm to get you up to date and in compliance with your bookkeeping records, by all means do so, okay? As record keeping, bookkeeping is heavily audited when your business is being chosen for an audit by the IRS, and not just by the IRS, the state can audit you too. So depending on what state you're in, you can get audited in your state. And if you're, if you're just having a great year, you can get audited by the IRS, which is federal, and you can get audited by state in the same year. But there's no reason to be afraid of an audit unless you're not audit ready, which means that you don't have your record keeping, you're not in compliance. That's when you should be afraid of being audited. So if you have not been audited, go ahead and get those records together. Reach out to someone to assist you. There will be a link below this recording to where you can click on the link and book a free 15-minute audit session, to where you can request what should you have, the assistance that you may need to help you prepare for an audit. Again, there will be a link below this video. Click the link and book that free 15-minute audit strategy session. Another thing that we see heavily audited, aside from the record keeping and the bookkeeping, is going to be your tax returns. You need to make sure that your tax returns are up to date, that they're filed on time, and that whoever is preparing your taxes, whatever accountant, financial professional is preparing your taxes, that they are accurate, meaning that you're not overstating income items, you're not understating income items, you're not overstating expenses, and you're not understating expenses. You're reporting on your tax return what your business actually did during that particular tax year. So that's very important. If you are needing a second set of eyes to look over your previous year's tax returns, just to make sure that everything looks good, that you're good to go in the case that you are chosen for an audit. Because if you're running a business, you more than likely in some time in your business life will be chosen for an audit. And again, like I said, it's nothing to be scared of. You just need to be prepared. And typically the people who are afraid and scared of audits are those professionals, assisted living providers, childcare providers who are not prepared. You don't have your things in order. So therefore, yeah, I'd be afraid too, right? Nobody wants to pay all that money back to the state and to the federal IRS for lack of compliance, etc. So just make sure that your tax returns are up to date and things like that. Also, last but not least, to make sure that you're audit ready in the case of an audit, your receipts. I have seen so much to where assisted living providers and childcare providers, you guys are not keeping up with your receipts. Because it's one thing for the auditor to look at your bookkeeping and to look at your tax returns, but they're also going to want to find the back end documents that go along with those financials, that go along with those tax returns, which are mostly receipts. It's going to be invoices. It's going to be customer bank books, customer logs, all that. You have to be keeping up with that, at least for, I would say sometimes, there's really no limit to how far a auditor can go back. But I would say keep at least 7 years on record of all of the business receipts, of all of the business's financial documents, backup documents, things that are super, super important. So yes, that means that if you are not organized in that area, you're going to have to get organized in that area because they will ask you to pull receipts. And most of the time, I know we're good about having paper receipts. And after so long, paper receipts, they tend to get, the ink tends to mess up on paper receipts and things like that. So you want to get into the habit of possibly getting a digital system to where you can digitize your receipts and bring your receipts or upload your receipts digitally. That way they're easily accessible. And as I stated previously, that some audits are done through email. So if you have digital receipts, you can actually email the digital file over to the auditor and you'll be done in 10-15 minutes. All this plays a role in making sure that if you're audited, you have a good audit experience because you're not afraid, because you have your bookkeeping in order, you have your tax returns in order, everything's caught up, you're not behind on taxes, and you have the backup documents that show proof of all those different type of expenses, income deposits, things like that. And it also shows that you're organized as a business owner. So therefore, typically, if an auditor sees that you're organized, you have things that they're requesting, your audit's not going to take long, it's going to be painless, and it's just going to be, it's not going to be what you thought it was going to be. It's not going to be horrible. Again, you should only be afraid if you do not have these things in order, if you do not have up-to-date record keeping, bookkeeping, if you don't have up-to-date tax returns, if you're late on your tax return filings, for even 1 year. I know some of you guys are late for several years, which is more that you should be worried about. And also, if you don't have the evidence, the documents to back up your purchases or even your income deposits, because it's not just about having the receipts for expenses, you need to have the documentation and the evidence for any type of income that's coming into your business as well. So if this is you, if you're that childcare provider or assisted living provider, and you're just like, I need some assistance with being audit ready, I have been audited and I failed it and I owed all these penalties, or I haven't been audited and if I am audited, I just want to be sure that I'm prepared. There is a link below this video. Click the link and book a free 15-minute audit strategy session, and myself or one of my team members will reach out to you, assess your situation, and tell you exactly what it is that you need to do to be audit ready, so that you're not afraid of your state, so that you're not afraid of the IRS, and that you don't end up paying all of these audit penalties and fines when you can use that money to be put back into your business and to grow in your business and to see your business thrive, because that's what we're in business for, right? Because we love it and we want to see our businesses thrive, okay? Again, there's a link below this video. If you need assistance, click the link for your free 15-minute audit strategy session, and we'll reach out and we will assist. Have a great day.